the greatest mistake that the governor of Anambra State, Charles Soludo, made as an Igbo man who is far away from the cries of their people was actually to shut down Onitsha Main Market. And then in the preceding videos you are about to watch now, you will see a lot of the market people actually going out for protest today. Yes, aga for protest, very serious one. And then if a government actually knows or is in tune with the need and the outcry of their own people, this is one of the greatest time for the Igbo leaders to actually understand the real grievance, why marketers and businessmen actually are obeying the sit-at-home order. It was not coerced. Ndi Igbo actually understands that what Nnamdi Kanu has been preaching has been the reality of Ndi Igbo. And that is why even when Nnamdi Kanu was incarcerated, they chose to stay at home. It was a peaceful demonstration. It was a peaceful movement, just as you have it with what Mahatma Gandhi actually did in India during or before the independence of India. They chose a peaceful movement, just like Raf Wazuruke preached, just like Mahatma Gandhi actually emphasized. I can always tell you that those who bore arm to fight for the liberation of Biafra, those who actually came out and then they were carrying arm, and then in fact what they engaged in was banditry, and that on its own, yes, if the government fought against them, I will really believe and then support the fight against banditry. Ndi Igbo are not a very violent people. Ndi Igbo are a people of peace, where business prospers and flourishes. You see an Igbo man there. And then where business doesn't work, you see an Igbo man stays clear, away from it, very far distant from it. Now, Charles Soludo, as the governor of Anambra State, had actually gone ahead to shut down Onitsha Main Market, probably to prove a point to the federal government under Bola Ahmed Tinubu that he's doing a great job. And then it was a great display of power. You are telling us that you are greater than those who actually put you in power. You are telling Ndi Igbo that you are far more greater than every other person. The government of Enugu State under Pitamba actually used the diplomatic means to end the sit-at-home in Enugu State, and then the governor of Anambra State is using a show of force to end insurgency, to end the continual or perpetual sit-at-home that was inherent in Anambra State. And this is the show of solidarity from the market people. And then, like I've said in time before, I've said this and I will repeat it again. You must engage the people. You must engage them. You cannot force them. A man who you do not pay his shop rent, two, you do not pay his bills. And then he chose to actually sit at home to protest what he saw as a perpetual injustice against Ndi Igbo. And then you're coming to close down their shop, you are closing, you even threaten that you bring it down. Like I've said, I believe in economic Biafra, I believe in the economic emancipation of Ndi Igbo. I believe that what must be top of the priority of any government in Ndi Igbo is the economic prosperity of Ndi Igbo. I believe that any leader who must lead Ndi Igbo must be a person of visionary leadership like M.I. Opera. Not the crop of belly-faced and stomach infrastructuralists that we have as Igbo leaders today. Ndi Igbo have become very dynamic. The set of Ndi Igbo I were today, abros Ndi Igbo nke 1966 or Ndi Igbo that actually came after the Biafran War. These are a set of more sophisticated Igbo. And then that is why you can see the solidarity movement. When you lock their shop, rather than them sitting back, wailing and crying, what they were talking about. And then if you hear the rhythm of the music that they were playing, they were saying, "Holy, holy, holy, Nnamdi Kanu is another savior." I don't believe that any man is the savior of Ndi Igbo. I believe that the collective good and the collective goal of Ndi Igbo is the only way we can attain and reach the goal we have as Ndi Igbo. It's not a one-man show, it's a collective goal. So for the Onitsha marketers to come and show solidarity with Nnamdi Kanu, it goes a long way to buttress what I've always said, that the set of Igbo leaders we have today are more interested in the fact and in what they feel is that they must eliminate a common threat among them, and then that is Nnamdi Kanu. release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the federal government had played using their gerrymandering technique, had actually released someone like Igboho, who was agitating for the Republic of Oduduwa. All right, the Nigerian federal government had actually rolled out a scheme where they rehabilitate and roll in former Boko Haram bandits into the military and paramilitary organizations. And then you sentenced a man like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu probably because he's Igbo, and then you are putting him down to Sokoto prison to go there and rough. And then you feel that the Onitsha traders will listen to you. You feel that an average Aba trader will listen to you. Even when let me shock you. Even when the trader decides to go to the market, a man, a woman sitting in his homestead will choose not to go to the market to patronize anybody. What set of leadership do we have in Igbo today? Ohaneze Ndi Igbo is almost like a ghost walking. Aki Ikenga, the youth wing of Ohaneze Ndi Igbo, is like non-existent. The North brings about their own ideology and what they want in the project called Nigeria, and they listen to them. And then the Igbo man brings up their own, and then these are genuine concerns. If the Igbo men or the Igbo people were actually put into the scheme of things in the project called Nigeria, nobody will come out to protest. There is, or it seems that there is, an unwritten agreement in Nigeria that once an Igbo man comes out as the presidential candidate of any party, it will never work. A lot of Ndi Igbo will always listen. How many, I've asked this question, how many political parties have actually zoned their presidential candidacy to the southeast? An Igbo man keeps being treated as a third-class citizen in their own country. What you feel or what you want them to assume is their own country. And then you have never zoned no political party. In what better ways do you know what are unwritten? In most countries, there are written laws and, conventional agreements. There is an unconventional agreement that an Igbo man will never emerge. What you do is every Ekede or every Akfo day, you bring influencers who do what? What they do is to demarket the Igbo man, just like Rono Omokri has always done. Constantly, normally, perpetually, it's like his life depended on it. And then the Onitsha Main marketers, those sellers who are in Onitsha Main Market, have always said, they've demanded for one thing, just like every well-meaning Igbo man has always demanded, that the way you treat the geese should be the way you treat the ganda. Esau I love, or however you call it in the Naga church. Jacob I love, Esau I despise. That has been the thing within the Igbo the Nigerian political system. You love Esau, or you love Jacob, and you despise Esau, and then you still want these people to coexist within the same ecosystem as you. How? I ask how? And then Chukuma Soludo has become the willing tool, the little element of praises and street credibility he has gotten within the Igbo people. He squashed it away just to prove to his paymasters that he can achieve. You can't do this alone. You cannot achieve this alone. If you must solve a problem, take it down to its deep root. Do not be very cosmetic about it, because the moment you become very cosmetic about the plights of Ndi Igbo, like I can tell you, it is a generally accepted fact in Nigeria that the government under the APC has been the worst Nigeria has ever recorded, right? Everything, even goods in the market, has escalated. There is a kind of a rising inflation within the nation. But even this useless and, meaningless APC government has been the most favorable to Ndi Igbo. And then our political elites, those who feel that they are the political juggernauts in Igbo, or those who wants to claim and portray to the world or nationally that they are the opinion makers of Ndi Igbo, are clapping. They are rejoicing over the plight of their own people. Now look at it. You see, any small provocation, people begin to hail Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as the only savior of Ndi Igbo. Why? Because he has continually and perpetually said what the truth is, the right time, the right words and everything. That doesn't mean what he's saying is completely correct, because I believe that the only way for economic liberation of Ndigbo is towards economic liberation first. You cannot build a nation. Any nation that gains political independence without gaining economic independence will always stagnate. I've always said this. Now, what right do you have to force a businessman to open a shop because you believe that what their actions and their inaction is tantamount to economic sabotage?